Good afternoon, everyone. So, on behalf of Hettich India, I would like to welcome all of you. So, in today's audience, we have not only furniture manufacturers, we also have architects, designers, and even dealers. So, today is and it's not only about people from India who have joined, we also have people from SAARC countries, that is like people from Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, also who have joined us. So, today is the first Hettich MasterClass which we have organized where we have international speakers from Poggenpohl, and we have Mr. Marc Sporer, who happens to be Director Corporate Architecture Poggenpohl, and we have Mr. Thomas Laaff, who happens to be Director Product Innovation and Design Poggenpohl. So they're going to take us through international trends in kitchen industry. So I would like to welcome Mr. Marc and Mr. Thomas.
Yes, but beforehand, Gaurav, let me take over and come up with some words from my end. So let me introduce myself to everybody. First of all, my name is Andre Eckholt, and I'm the Managing Director of Hettich India. There are hundreds, maybe even thousands of people today in the line, so I really appreciate the opportunity to also introduce myself to each of you, because I could imagine that not each of you knows my face, since I'm quite new back in India. As most of you know, my predecessor, Mr. Goel, he got retired during end of the year, and I was coming back to India in, let's say, the middle of last year. So we had a wonderful 6 months of time, a transition time. We were slowly taking over the business, and I'm now fully in the operations. And I'm really, really happy to welcome all of you. These 1,000+ participants from, I was counting 7 different nations today. So, which is just a wonderful opportunity. Also, we are also happy to, that so many OEMs, trade partners, as well as architects, designers, as Mr. Bajaj was already saying, followed our invitation today. And also from my end, let me address my thanks to Thomas and Marc from Poggenpohl, sharing their time with all of us. So maybe this as a beginning before we start with the keynote. Hettich, as most of you know, we have always been at the forefront of, let's call it, pioneering initiatives also in the past, which helped us to shape the industry and to create added value for all our business partners. And in line with this, let's say, customer-centric approach, it gives us an immense pleasure to announce the launch of our new initiative, which we call Hettich MasterClass. So the Hettich MasterClass is, let's say, a knowledge sharing platform, what we believe, where experts from, and that's what we see today, from around the globe. So we have people from Germany here, we have people from India, from Sri Lanka, from Bangladesh, from so many countries. So sharing their domain expertise on topics that impact our business and our lives. So we will be also in the future, we would like to conduct such sessions from time to time to arm you, all of you, with valuable insight and trends. And but today we are privileged to have Poggenpohl, we can say this, the luxury kitchen brand known worldwide, as our expert speaker for this today's session. So let me also use the opportunity to shortly talk about Hettich and Poggenpohl as such. And when we talk about Hettich and Poggenpohl, I believe we have been collaborating for a while already now to offer the best luxury kitchen solutions to our customers. Both Hettich as well as Poggenpohl are having many, many things in common. Both companies has been founded approximately 130 years back. So I think Poggenpohl has been founded, if I'm not wrong, please correct me, in 1888 or something like this, or 1888, I believe, yes. So, and Hettich in the same year. So both companies also entered into the Indian market approximately 25 years back. Both companies' headquarters is based in Germany, in an area which we call Eastern Westphalia, where all the big kitchen manufacturers are located. In fact, we call it the Silicon Valley of the kitchen industry, and we are just 20 kilometers distance to each other. So, in fact, Both companies have a passion with interior design and lifestyle, and therefore I believe we fit in very well together. And Hettich offers cutting-edge innovative fitting solutions that are ideal for a cutting-edge luxury kitchens offered by Poggenpohl at the end of the day. So hence, I'm looking forward to an informative and engaging session. And I now would like to hand over the micro to Thomas and Poggenpohl. So thank you very much.
Yeah, hello everybody. I hope you can hear us. We had a little bit of a technical issue here just this very minute. I hope that now the connection is good. Could you please approve? Yeah, thank you very, very much. Thank you. I'm very, very sorry, Andre. I missed part of your introduction, but I had to restart my system here just recently. And so, but thank you very much for the warm words. And Marc Sporer and myself, we will now take over and start our presentation. Let me just share my screen. Just a second, please. That you can see our screen now. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Okay, so then I will get started. Yeah, first off, I would like to give you a short overview on what is going to be today's contents of our presentation. So we will be introducing the brand of Poggenpohl briefly to you and share some information about the main design concept that we feature. Afterwards, we will talk about international trends in kitchen and interior, in kitchen and architecture design, and also touch base on what is special about Indian or about India as far as Poggenpohl is concerned. Afterwards, I would like to get more into the details of kitchen functionality and fittings. And in the end, give some insights on the close cooperation of Hettich and Poggenpohl in the recent month.
So, Mr. Thomas, just 1 second. So after the presentations, we would be open for the question answers. So I would just request you to write all your questions in the chat box, and then Mr. Thomas and Mr. Marc would take up those questions. Thank you.
Okay, we will do so. Thank you. So let me get to the Poggenpohl of today. Even though Poggenpohl is now 130 years, it was founded in 1892 by a man called Friedemir Poggenpohl as a small cabinet maker. However, over the decades, it became a major inventor in kitchen and has now evolved to one of the leading brands for German-made luxury kitchens. The picture that you see here on the screen is one of our key images representing our most recent design as we are launching this and rolling this out worldwide. At Poggenpohl, we have an attitude towards kitchen. We celebrate the kitchen as the center of life. And we think that there needs to be beauty, there needs to be design, there needs to be architecture. There needs to be everything coming together, which gives the energy and enjoyment to a kitchen. And this is what these pictures stand for. You see emotional pictures of our most recent campaigns, not only featuring the surfaces of our kitchen cabinetry and worktops, but also always touching base on the delicious things of life, as I would call it. Poggenpohl concepts have been trend-setting ever since, and this is mainly also not only due to the superb craftsmanship of our products, but it's also because of the overall aesthetics, about the design language that we feature. And that has been trend-setting, and you will understand throughout the course of my presentation what examples we might show you that underline this. For instance, on this picture, you see one of our recent island designs featuring a newly designed aluminum frame door style called Contour. And this in combination with a rolled steel surface on the worktop, a very, very puristic, fairly cold design though. However, this is somewhat a counterpart of what you have just seen the slide before. We define ourselves as kitchen architects. And in this picture, you get an impression of what we think of once we talk about architecture in kitchen design. Architecture is something that incorporates the entire room, the entire space, the entire surrounding in which we lay out our kitchen design and in which we celebrate the beauty of our furniture. On this picture here, you see a combination of the previous mentioned contour design with this aluminum frame and a first insight in our all-new glass cabinetry line, which we call Showcase. You will see a few slides of those in a couple of minutes. One of the recent overall kitchen design concepts that has been rolled out to the market in 2018 was our Plus Vinovo. And it was the most recent overall kitchen concept that stands in a long line of innovative concepts. You will see a few more of those in the upcoming slides. When we talk about kitchen, we talk about luxury kitchen. These are exceptional kitchens. And these kitchens, they do not just pop up, or they do not just come out of a catalog. These exceptional kitchens, they are created by artists, by architects, by designers, and they are created in a process of dialogue. The interior designers, be it in-house here in our headquarters or in our partner studios all around the world, our designers and planners, they closely talk to our end consumers and develop unique, truly unique kitchen architecture and solutions. So no Poggenpohl kitchen is somewhat off the shelf, is somewhat comparable to other kitchen manufacturers. We are very proud that there is a uniqueness beyond our architectural and product design. On this picture, you see a study, a case study, which in this very precise design has not been brought to the market. It was a conceptual study featuring a terrazzo stone surface and an innovative aluminum canopy hanging from the ceiling. That might be a little bit of an outlook in what's about to come in the next years. However, we also picked this picture in order to give you a better idea of how we define design and about the process, which is beyond it. On this slide, you see a workshop surface, which is very prominent, very expressive and opulent. We call this Rosso Lepanto. This is a special stone, a red stone, which is very barely featured in kitchen architecture. We understand this. However, we picked this color in order to celebrate a warm and a vivid color here in combination with the reddish colored trace underneath. And this is for us modern elegance and opulence. The weightlessness comes from the somewhat floating worktop of our Plus Modo kitchen design that you will see in the next slides. Again, the Rosso Lepanto is another iconic picture of our most recent campaign, which has had a very strong response in the market. And we even have been awarded with a design award in the US, I think actually 2 design awards, if I get it correctly, for the most impressive contemporary design in kitchen architecture in the American scene nowadays. Let me now talk a little bit more in detail about the concepts as such. First off, you need to understand our naming. We have, of course, a huge assortment of standard cabinets, of cabinet types, about 4,700 different standard cabinets. And on top of that, all kind of bespoke and non-standard cabinets. But based on those standards, we add on certain design features. And because this is an add-on, we call our design lines plus segmento in this case. So plus segmento means you can choose from the very, very wide range of Poggenpohl cabinets and add on specific design items to give it a unique character and a unique face. Here we are talking about a handleless kitchen design, which has a handrail underneath the worktop or in the middle of the frontal of base cabinets. This is a classic which Poggenpohl came up with in the year 2000 already. So this design we feature for 23 years now. I think it has been given a very, very big push to the entire market, and there are barely any kitchen companies around the world these days which have not got influenced by that. The plus segmento handrail gives the worktop again an appearance of floating, an appearance of flying, especially if you do it like on this picture. If you have the handrail all around the island, right underneath the worktop seems to fly. And especially when there is a worktop thickness involved, here in this case, I think it's a 20 mil worktop. The lighter it gets, the thinner the worktop is. The next kitchen design concept I would like to introduce to you here is the so-called Plus Modo. Plus Modo was launched in 2005. It was designed by a world-famous kitchen, I think up to this time he was not doing any kitchens, he was doing interior and exterior furniture. It's Mr. Jorge Penzi from Barcelona in Spain. He's a born Argentinian, however, is working and living in Spain ever since. And Jorge Penzi, together with Poggenpohl, designed Plus Modo. Plus Modo became one of the key kitchen concepts for Poggenpohl. Everybody recognizes the brand. Everybody who is a little bit familiar with kitchen design on a premium and high-end level immediately recognizes a Plus Modo kitchen. A Plus Modo is characterized by the distance between the base cabinet line and the worktop. And here, this weightlessness, this flying of worktops, is even much more prominent than in the picture you've seen before. This open space, this open distance between the base cabinets and the worktop is the characteristic feature of Plus Modo. And underneath the worktop, just right above the cabinetry, there are these characteristic pull-out shelves. Pull-out shelves with a double function, not only a storage function, even more than that, a presenting function. On the pull-out trays, you can nicely arrange your valuable kitchen or tableware items, be it precious china or glasses, or like in this cases, bowls with particular fruit and things. This is just an inspiration. But these trays have been unique. They have been exclusive to Poggenpohl. And the definition of this open space between a base cabinet and a worktop is something that was, that was so prominent to Poggenpohl that, at least what I've been told, very, very few other companies even dared to get inspired or even copy this, because it was so unique to the Poggenpohl brand. The motto mainly is the island, from how we understand it today, even though there has been a range of larders and highboard cabinets in the beginning. Today we combine motto with very, very minimalistic and pure larder batteries, like you see here, a tall unit battery in our aluminum glass surface, which very, very nicely fits to the darkish brown black wood veneer, which is on the island. Another thing that you see on this tall unit battery is also an interesting architectural feature. We try to be as non-disturbed as possible to hide appliances. If there is a possibility to flip the appliance to the side of the tall unit battery, then it does not disturb the frontal surface of the battery. The last but not least concept I'd like to introduce here is the already mentioned Place Venovo. Place Venovo is a floating island concept, again, on steel feet. So it is a huge and very wide island concept, up to 3 meters width. And these 3 meter width of flying base cabinets are concealed in a very, very rigid steel construction. So even on top of this island, 2 or 3 people could sit on the worktop and it would not bend. It's a very, very rigid construction. Few people know this. Few people have ever seen it because it's hidden beyond a back wall. However, it's a very, very unique concept and also a very minimalistic modern concept, which we have evolved more into a living furniture. As you see here on this picture, there are now low boards even to sit upon, and very nice standalone high boards, so that a Venovo is not only intended to be a kitchen furniture, but also excuse me, an apartment, an open apartment, a living furniture rather. Interior equipment, very important for us too. Here we very much emphasize precious materials. We used to celebrate aluminum and nowadays real wood interior, but in combination with aluminum, it makes up a very nice material mix. This is an outlook to our most recent kaleidoscope concept, which we feature in the interior. The showcase I have already explained to you. I will not repeat myself, and so I'm skipping this slide in order to now go more towards the international world of Poggenpohl, the global markets. And as you see from this world map, Poggenpohl is represented almost everywhere on the globe, on all 5 continents. We have representatives, especially in large cities and metropolitan areas around the world. And just to give you one little example of how we expose ourselves in the most recent days, this is our all brand new experience center in Shanghai, China. We have opened up just recently, I think it's about 4 months ago, the biggest and most impressive showroom that Poggenpohl ever had. The Shanghai Brand Experience Center not only features our products, it also features our new architectural interior design concept. Mr. Marc Sporer, to whom I would hand over now the presentation, he can give you much more insight towards architecture interior design. And the team beyond Marc Sporer, our corporate architecture team, also is responsible for having created this beautiful atmosphere here in our Shanghai showroom. So Marc, would you please come up? So Marc will give you some insights now in international trends when it comes to kitchen interior architecture.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you for your introduction and your great presentation so far. Yeah, also a very warm welcome from my side to everyone. Thank you for your interest and thank you for your time in advance. I'd like to take you on the journey to the international trends in kitchen, interior architecture, in the design in general. We at Poggenpohl, we understand ourselves as trendsetters from our heritage. We see ourselves as innovators. We are always scoping the latest trends, the mega trends, but also the smaller trends in the world to offer our partners and clients a very sophisticated language of architecture. As we're looking into the design world today, I just like to point out some of the trends we saw out there and which we incorporate into our interior design language already. I'd like to give you also a quick overview how these trends also match to your market in India as well. And starting with the topic, I like to take the biophilic design. So biophilic design, the hypothesis claims that humans have an innate affinity towards the nature. So this design concept is there to increase the health and the well-being of us all in architecture, to feel comfortable in cities, in the office, in your own home, and to build a valuable connection with nature in general. It's, so to say, the acceptance of life as a deep and complicated process in the mental environment. In the former architecture, the language was more reduced. It was cold materials like concrete, glass, steel. So this trend changed to something in which we reconnect humans with nature again. We shape our environment to make it more approachable, but also in a way more sustainable. And we want to improve the urban landscape to offer a home for different species, like birds or small animals and whatever. So it's a principle of giving back something what we took for building our cities. The general architecture in the cities has also an impact on the inhabitants as well as on the climate. In terms of the interior architecture, it is more like we want to incorporate plants in the interior concepts. Plants are just one part of the biophilic design. Biophilic design means so much more in the world. So it's about shapes, it's about the atmosphere, it's about the light. But plants are one essential point in the architecture. So architects, interior designers are trying to incorporate really plants into the living rooms, not only in plant pots somewhere in the corner, but also in the complete design concept of the room. We're working a lot with soft shapes of the interior elements, almost like playful structures. So shapes and constructions which were before more hard and in a way not really nice to see. They're now leading shapes through the room, getting the room a good flow. It's an energy-loaded installation of the room atmospheres. So mainly all these rooms are designed for the user to dive in. So the user is in the biophilic design. It's a life full of life and of joy, and to enjoy the room atmosphere around you. In kitchen design, we translated these these trends into mostly soft forms, into rounded forms, rounded shapes. We incorporated nice details like on the right-hand side, as you can see in the island. It's really a welcoming gesture giving to the spectator of this kitchen. And it has to be a perfect harmony of natural tones, shapes, elements. And what we're doing is we're trying to create a holistic atmosphere, incorporating plants, shapes, materials, colors to a really, really nice kitchen design. You also have these trends already in India in the architecture. Just like in these examples, we see here an apartment in by a design studio called Jetson. We see also an office building because the biophilic design is also very, very important in the office. So after the pandemic, it's hard to get people back into the offices. And so the architects and designers are taking a lot of efforts in the design language to create a warm and welcoming atmosphere like at home in your office spaces. A second trend that we are watching at the moment, which is very important for us all, is the colors. So colors were there for all the time, but in today's time, colors are getting more and more interesting and getting more back to the architecture as well. So architecture in general is more expressive. We are using the colors in different functionalities. Color could be an expression of individualism. It could be a contrasting element, full of life, really expressive, like in the left-hand picture, to contrast an existing building, for example. But it could also be a harmonious play with the surrounding natural scene, like in the second one. So color is a psychological tool to exaggerate rooms and functionalities. Color is something to express your own individuality, and so it is essential in the modern architecture. The color range in interior design reaches from bold, monochrome concepts to harmonious, natural composition. Here we can see the two trends. Either you play with strong tones, like in the middle picture, mainly in the varieties of basic colors, or you create flattering earthy tones in compositions with other natural materials, like in the left-hand picture. Overall, you can say the architecture and the interior architecture in general are using colors more often and more open and more expressive than in the past. In the kitchen, the color trend is also there. Kitchen design is more and more stepping away from the clean architectural installation. So this trend is still there. But in addition, we are facing now a highly individual expression of their owner. So color concepts of the kitchen design are linked to the holistic design concept of the interior design. This means the kitchens are melting more and more into the rooms by color, but also by their functionality. And they, so to say, they are more or less the new design furniture of the complete apartment rather than a functional corner in the house. In India, we can also see these design trends. So the latest interior design trends confirm the continued allegiance to nature and its ways. This means the imprint of nature will be seen in the inspiration of the design, the form of the furniture, and the texture ruling the interior scene. The natural materials and textures that add a unique calming, but also an opulent character to spaces. The third trend we are following at the moment, and which is also a very nice trend, to be honest, one of my favorite ones, to be fair, are the structure surfaces. So interesting, I mean, normally you say if you wait long enough, everything will come back. In terms of the glazed tiles that you see here in the picture, yeah, it was the truth. But we also see these trends in other parts of the architecture. In architecture, for example, the structure's surfaces are gaining more and more impact in the exterior architecture as they underline the character of the building, and at the same time, they are offering a high functionality to the architects. So, for example, the left-hand picture, you can see tiles. In the center, you can see a ceramic surface from one of our partners, Cosentino. They are there to feature these high individual designs. And at the same time, they are super sustainable. For example, they are really easy to clean. They are very durable, and they can be shaped in the way the architects want to express the building. Wooden structures are also there. So the wooden structures stand for the natural building materials, offering a wide range of shapes and also functions like, for example, shading. In the interior design, the structured elements, yeah, mostly they're there in forms of a tile, in forms of soft shaped wooden elements like in the center picture, or even these 3D panels attached to the wall in the third picture. What we can see in the interior architecture is that the structures on the wall are mainly used to give the room this character, to underline the luxurious approach of the architecture. And as you can see in the left-hand picture from the tiles, if I would say someone in my age, let's say 10 years back, hey, why not put glazed tiles on the wall? They would say like, oh, it's a little bit old school, don't you think? And I would say today, no, not at all, because the tiles are just reflecting the elegance and the luxurious approach in the room. In the kitchen branch, we would say like, okay, structured surfaces are not really functional in the kitchen area. And as a Poggenpohl is always been first functional, structures are more placed in the surrounding elements to underline the shape of the design. But in the backsplash area, we mostly see tiles as they are in line with the functionality request and the daily use. Here we see more and more glazed surfaces and unique handmade tiles as an opulent detail added to the design language of the kitchens. Another important trend in this part of the kitchen, and still visible and getting more and more important, is the use of natural stones. So something we do over the years, but the natural stones are getting more and more expressive, and the natural touch gives the kitchen an art-like background. So there are no boundaries for the user, for the designer, to be expressive. That's what it's all about at the moment, to underline the character of the user inside of the kitchen. We all want to stand out with our own personality. And this is what we can see in the kitchen as well, that people are getting more and more into the detail, and good interior design is all about the detail. Likewise, we see this trend also come in India. So no matter what a year it is, a touch of flamboyance is always welcome. So patterned flooring, stone inlays, wall panels, and wallpapers are offering a huge variety of options to introduce this opulence and playfulness in the interior. Playing with colors and materials, which is, from my side, a very typical element in the Indian architecture, that we've seen in the trends before. Also, they are creating the perfect, harmonious, and holistic approach to a desirable interior design. So far from my side with the trends and with the small insight in what we see as trends in the future as well. And I'd like to hand over again to Mr. Laaff, who will give you more insight into our thinking. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward for your questions at the end of the presentation.
Thank you very much, Marc. I would like to continue with what Marc Sporer has just begun to talk about, an Indian perspective on our products, on our architecture. And I found this very, very interesting to see about these structures, about these tiles, which we see in Indian kitchens quite frequently. But we're not only talking about this beautiful surfaces with regard to the structure. Kitchen is all about cooking, and cooking is all about food. So that's actually my favorite part of the presentation. And I try to pick a picture from the internet representing Indian food. I hope I did not pick something really strange, but I'm quite confident not. But food is really important, and the preparation of food. And food all over the world can be different, and especially the ingredients are different. And so let me talk about what we think is specific to our kitchens when we talk about India. First off, I would like you to understand what our customers are in India. When we talk about an end customer in India, we talk about a family. We talk about a family of maybe 4 to 6 people. Honestly, fairly wealthy families, as Poggenpohl kitchens are very expensive. They are top of the price pyramid. And so, it requires some sort of wealth to get a kitchen from Poggenpohl. And these families, they often have staff members. So these families, they do not cook in their kitchen on their own or themselves. They have to have cooks, probably 2 to 3 cooks. Those are the people that are operating the kitchen, and those are the people that need to understand the functionality. And this is why Poggenpohl is doing training. Training once ever a new kitchen has been delivered to a customer family. There always comes a training along with it, not only about appliances, how to operate the oven, for instance, but also how to deal with the specific requirements of Indian kitchens. And when talking about specific requirements, what is often something we have to really take into account is the water, not only in the air in form of humidity, but also in form of fluent water right in the kitchen, right in the sink on the worktop. So the cabinetry underneath needs to be, in some cases, very, very resistant. We also learned that the cleaning methods in Indian kitchens, they really require this. So we have to take care that our cabinetry withstands it. And our standard cabinetry is meeting the most sophisticated furniture international quality standards. They always have proven to do so in the past years. But in very, very special occasions, we even see kitchens that are made of a specific material. Not stainless steel, that even might rust in your market, but for instance, marine plywood. Maybe you are already working with it already. In very specific cases, we apply marine plywood as a very, very water resistant material. Talking about oils and spices. Oils and spices, they do not harm our kitchen at all. The material that we choose is proven resistant against this kind of ingredient. We apply only steel, not only steel, I wanted to say stone worktops. Stone worktops made of quartz. You see a quartz here in the lower picture, for instance. It's a rather vivid and modern quartz. And this quartz material, is easily capable to bear all these challenges. But that's actually basically it, which is special. The rest of the requirements towards functionality are very, very much in line with what we see here in Europe and worldwide. Let me briefly also talk about our partner. We have a very long-standing partner in India. Some of you might know this company. They are representing Poggenpohl in India since 1998. So for 25 years now, Poggenpohl is represented in your market. And in 98, it was the first German kitchen brand to enter the Indian market. And the Poggenpohl brand perception was always on the very highest level ever since. And that is why architects, they sent their customers to go and see Poggenpohl, because they have a long-standing confidence in the design and especially also in the execution quality of our furniture. We feature a wide range of very exquisite materials, be it the frontals, be it the sides. So that is something that not everybody has. We're talking about very, very prestigious wood in some cases, but also on the low end of our offering, for a more affordable price, you found very, very attractive decors. One thing is very special, and I think this is appreciated by the customer base ever since, and this is the lifetime warranty that Poggenpohl is offering in India. And this goes along with a very unique after-sales service. So once a customer buys a Poggenpohl kitchen, it's being taken care of, that he will enjoy the kitchen for the entire lifetime of this kitchen. That is the specific side when we talk about India. And that leads me to the next chapter of my presentation. And I think this is very interesting to all of you as you are attending a Hettich seminar here at the Hettich MasterClass. And when it comes to functionality, it comes to fittings. And when we talk about functionality in combination with fittings, we talk about innovation again. Poggenpohl is, like I said, 130 years old now. But in the former days, like here, for instance, a picture from the 1930s, Poggenpohl was ever since an innovator. So this beautiful lady here on the right, operating a kitchen in Germany in the 1930s, she was, for instance, using a cabinetry like on the left-hand side. And even on that cabinetry, it's the so-called modular, it's a pre-form of the modular kitchen. It was the so-called reform kitchen. And this reform kitchen that featured a handle design with a glass protecting circle beyond the handle. And that glass was intended to preserve the frontal surface from getting any scratches, for instance, from painted fingernails. As the ladies in those times, of course, painted their fingernails. But even without paint, it was a good idea to secure the surfaces and protect them. Later on in the 1970s, there was a cool project taking place here at Poggenpohl with the world famous designer Kolani. Kolani was really, really expressive, and he was celebrating round forms. And inspired by the Apollo program from NASA in the United States, there was this ball being designed, and it's an icon of our brand. We still have it. It's still here in our headquarters little museum. So once you ever make your way to Herford, you're invited to see this very, very unique thing. And why was it so unique? Because it was on ergonomics. It was about reaching everything from just one sitting position. So ergonomics always, in combination with functionality, was something very specific to Poggenpohl. Making a little jump forward into the year 2006, there was a concept being introduced to the market, which was called the dining desk. And this is all about cooking and entertaining in combination with conferencing. There was an expandable table with some functional trolleys that you could roll in from the side, and where pre-prepared meals could be served, or even dishes could be cooked on these trolleys. There was a variant featuring a hub. Very exceptional design, only at Poggenpohl. You might have seen this picture. This is our Artesio program, plus Artesio. It was the first kitchen concept, not only about a furniture piece, but it was an architectural piece. It was celebrating the room all around, and it even made up room. Hadi Terani, who was the designer of this kitchen, is a famous architect. And if you look at the houses that he does, they're somewhat a little bit like this. So it's actually a house inside a house. So that should just give you a little bit of a flashback into our history, but coming now to the present, talking about 2021. These are now pictures from our current showroom. And one thing that we have done when we relaunched our brand in 2021, we tried to give it more warmth, like Marc has just laid out, more color, but also a much better functionality and technology. So here you see our showcase glass cabinet, which is featuring a very precisely crafted aluminum frame with nice tinted glasses, with a lighting system that is invisible. The only thing that you see here is the enlightened things that are inside this glass cabinet, but you don't see the light source. And that is the functionality that we're seeking. And if you take a close look, you don't see any technology at all. It's all hidden. The colors of this cabinet can be freely chosen. There's a huge variety of colors that you can combine these with. And in addition to this, we introduced our new contour frame concept. It's a very sharp and precise aluminum edge band to a frontal. It's exclusive to Poggenpohl. We invented this, and it's the most precise and sleek aluminum finish that you can have all around the door. So here, metal is not used as a fitting, it is used as a furniture accessory, rather, which is visible from the outside. Again, some additional slides here on a rather living room decorated situation. And here, for the first time, Hettich technology comes into play. You see that even in this shallow variant of our glass cabinet, we feature internal drawers. And here for the first time, you see this all-new slim drawer, which we buy from Hettich, which Hettich has been developing for us. We will see more of this later on. Another interesting feature, which we have shown on our most recent in-house fair, is a Plus Modo that you already know, with a expandable worktop. So the worktop is sliding to the side, and believe me, it's not any worktop, it's a natural stone. The worktop alone has a weight of about 400 kilograms. It was a big event once we installed this worktop onto this cabinetry. I think there were 8 people carrying this worktop to get it installed. And this worktop featured a specific technology. Underneath the worktop, there are heavy-duty runners that are carrying these stone worktops. So again, you see, when we talk about fittings and functionality, it's really special. And of course, this is not off the shelf. This is something very specific. Another example that I would like to point out here is an architectural functionality. An architectural functionality, which is all about tall units. Here on this picture, you see an installation of our Herford showroom. And in the back of this kitchen, you see this tall unit block. And now take a look what happens if I click the next slide. It's opening up. So something hidden is now becoming visible. It's about hiding and about presenting. It's a very contemporary and very state-of-the-art technology that we are featuring here. This double pocket doors, as they are called. You might have seen this already in the market. It's not all brand new. This kind of technology has been around for a while. However, there are new variants of this technology available now that allow a very, very light operation, a very smooth operation, a very luxurious appeal of the product. And this is why we have chosen to feature this. And we are not doing this like everybody does. What is very important for us is, you see this here on the right picture, that the pockets, they are not standing very proud of the surfaces. They are almost entirely concealed. You cannot put them down to zero because that's not possible. However, we try to make sure that once you hide the pockets, they are almost invisible. Another interesting aspect of technology, and now getting more towards the fittings in furniture, are cabinetry fittings, like for instance, comfort storage solution. And here we feature a cabinet, storage cabinet solution, which is somewhat on the highest level of furniture fitting systems. It's our high-board ladder, storage ladder, and the interesting thing about it, once you open the door, magically it comes towards you. It slides out of the cabinet. All the 5 trays are presented to you, and the operating efforts is almost not existent. You get the impression that it's driven by some sort of electrical drive, but it's not true. You only operate this by hand. But here the fitting technology is on its highest level when it comes to heavy-duty bearings in furniture. Another aspect of brilliant access to storage goods is this example here. It's also not brand new, but once you experience this, it's very comfortable to have goods in your direct reach and that are somewhat organized. And the combination of this little fitting here on top with this tray solution are the combinations of real drawer systems in the lower part of the tall unit. And here it makes up a perfect combination of storage capacity and user-friendliness and ergonomics. So this is when we talk about perfect fitting technology. This is what we mean. And here you see that on the lower side of this cabinetry here, our all-new slim drawer is featured again. And that brings me now to the last chapter of my presentation. And that is the chapter on the Hettich and Poggenpohl collaboration, because this nice drawer system has been brought to the customers together. The Hettich and Poggenpohl collaboration started, I think, if I get it correctly, in 2017, 2018, as with the first and initial talks, but it resulted in a presentation in the year 2020 for the first time. This new slim designer, slim drawer was introduced, and once it was introduced as a showpiece also. We celebrated it like a little bit on a technology fair. There was an explosional display being presented in our room here in order to have everybody understand what high value technology is inside our drawer system. The slim drawer design is made of aluminum and very, very minimalistic. There are no gaps, no disturbant surfaces on the outside. It's all clean. And even on the inside, the necessary technology when it comes to adjustment screws, for instance, was nicely hidden by covering capes. And what's special on the slim drawer design of our brand is that not only the side panel of the drawer box is 8 millimeter, also the back panel is 8 millimeter. So this is a very consistent approach when it comes to drawer design. But Hettich was not only willing to support us with this beautiful new system, the collaboration was even on a level where Hettich was even willing to support bespoke drawer systems that run on Hettich technology, on the Actro U drawer system. But from a design perspective, we also feature a very high-end exclusive drawer system in an anodized black aluminum with a wooden interior, which you honestly cannot see on this picture here a lot, but the inside of this drawer box can be configured, and there can be wooden material, wooden inlays being brought to celebrate the interior of a drawer box. And what we appreciate in the collaboration with Hettich very, very much is that also third parties are no enemies at all. Third parties are welcomed once they contribute to the same goal. And the goal in this aspect was to push up Hettich and push up Poggenpohl onto the highest level of kitchen design. I have been talking to you now on our standard cabinetry. Now let me give you a very brief little side step towards our project sales channel. Project sales channel is a very specific sales channel. We are recently rolling out our new concept, which we call ARC. ARC is a very specific concept for the project business, and the project business in a certain aspect has different rules. And here we feature another Hettich system that you in your market might know very well. And this is the Avantech U. It's a state-of-the-art, very, very elegant drawer system. We feature this in the anthracite color shade, so different from the silver aluminum that we have in our retail product line. And in our newly opened showroom here in Herford, we are very, very happy to share the stage with Hettich to a certain extent. And we have presenter here installed, which shows all the flexibility of the Avantech U system. And that is the reason why we have chosen it, because the tastes of architects worldwide are so different. And architects, they define right down to the fitting, what kind of color shading, what kind of material they desire. And Avantech U gives you the opportunity not only to feature a base design, but also to individualize it, be it with design profiles, like shown here on the right, in different color shadings, or be it with the so-called design capes here that you see on the left side. And these design capes could be of anything. They could be of real metal, of copper, they could be of wood. And this gives the drawer box a very, very specific expression. And we were very attracted by this product concept, and that is why we picked it for our sales channel in project business. And even the illuminated feature that you can click on the side of the drawer box is something that we offer in case it is required. Honestly, it's a non-standard on our side. It's not part of our normal offering, but we take the advantage of having such thing available. We take the advantage to offer it once there are architects interested in this kind of technology. The interior lighting of Avantech U is a very, very nice approach when it's driven by a battery pack in the back, which is applied by a magnet. So it's very, very easy to install. It's even retrofittable. So if you decide yourself later on that you would like to have a lighting it's retrofittable. And this is what I think is fantastic on this system. Beyond drawers and hinges, there is another form of fitting technology, and we celebrate this here in our sideboard, in a small sideboard with sliding doors. Sliding doors are becoming more and more popular in interior design, also in furniture design. And here at Poggenpohl, we decided to take the slide line M for our furniture design of sideboards and of wall hanging cabinets. The slide line M is also not a brand new product. However, it's a very, very good compromise, I have to say, when it comes to the discussion of performance and cost, honestly. And that is also very, very important when we talk about the project sales channel. And therefore, we are very, very happy that our supplier Hettich is offering this. Now I'm coming to the end of my little journey here. And as far as Marc Sporer and myself are concerned, we would like to thank you very much. We would like to thank Hettich for giving us the stage here to talk to you today. We think that Hettich and Poggenpohl have joined up to a very successful team, and that we are looking into a prosperous future together. On the right-hand side, to see the picture of both of our headquarters. On the top, it's the Hettich Forum in Kirchlengern, and on the bottom, you see the Poggenpohl headquarters here in Herford. Like already been mentioned in the introductory speech, it's about 20 minutes by car away, and this very close relationship, I think, was also being achieved because we have very, very often met. We are cooperating very, very closely. And yeah, thank you everybody on the Hettich side again for your strong support. And I hope that the little presentation given by Marc Sporer and myself was giving you some interesting insight. And both Marc and me, we are very much looking forward to further discussion. So if there are questions, I think they could be entered in the chat channel, and we're very happy to answer those. So that was it from our side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Thomas, and thank you, Marc. Now I would request all of you to write down the questions in the question answer or the chat box. In the meantime, there are certain questions which have already been raised, which I would start taking one by one. So the first question is, what fittings have been used for pull-out tray in the island kitchen?
Here we use the same pull-out technology like in our drawer system. It's the Actro U slides.
Okay. The next question is, what are some of the creative ways to maximize storage spaces in small kitchens?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question. I love this question, and I think I try to give already a bit of an answer in my presentation. Maximize storage space. Yeah, the most storage space that you can ever achieve is if you not apply any fitting technology like pull-out technology at all. So if you just have a cabinet with blank shelves, that is honestly the way to have the maximum net inside space. However, it's not comfortable. It's not really necessary. Yeah. And therefore, like I have been showing in my presentation, we offer a few solutions. I think that a slim drawer box system is a very good point to start from. The very slim drawer box, of course, leaves the maximum internal width in a drawer and the maximum internal depth. So that is a good way to optimize storage. But there could be other solutions. There could be solutions like, for instance, swing out trays. There could be solutions in corners, especially. Then you can very, very easily reach what is inside the so-called dead end corner or dead corner of a cabinet. I think that these swing out trays are all also very well known in your market. And of course, there are other high sophisticated solutions when it comes to wall cabinets to bring down the contents from a high wall cabinet. So it's not easily to be answered, but again, there's always a bit of a compromise. the more technology you apply, the more fitting you apply, the less space is left.
Okay.
It might be a good idea not to store too many things and to just limit yourself.
Thomas, with your first initial reply, I was thinking that you're hitting our business by saying eliminate the hardware, reduce the fitting, really.
So that was a bit of a joke, honestly, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm very
but
open.
But you saved the situation towards the later part of the statement, no?
Yeah.
So the next question is, in regard to the surface, structure, and material used, how durable would you recommend is a Poggenpohl kitchen, keeping in mind the family size is 4 to 6 in India, and we tend to work at least 3 to 4 times in a day for cooking the meal. So basically a question about durability of a Poggenpohl kitchen with regards to surface and structure from the perspective of Indian kitchens, which are highly used. Really, that's the question, really.
Yeah. The durability in Germany is very much measured by endurance testing that has been standardized for many, many years now. You might know the LGA, which initiated together with the German institutes of norming furniture standards and are testing to the furniture standards. And furniture standards mean that, for instance, all functional components of a kitchen, like drawers, are excessively tested in endurance runs. For instance, the drawer systems, they withstand an endurance run of 80,000 cycles. Some critical components, like the runners themselves, they are tested up to 200,000 cycles, as I know from my colleagues at Hettich in Kirchlengern. This is far beyond a normal life of a kitchen. The standard in Germany requires 60,000 cycles, and that already represents a kitchen lifetime of 30 years. So I would say that a kitchen lifetime in a normal use could be something about 30 years. But in 30 years, kitchens really age. And what we know from the statistics, kitchens are exchanged much earlier than in 30 years. And so even with an excessive usage, like in an Indian market, like you have seen, I would be very, very confident that we reach 20 years at the very, very least. However, that is also a time frame where most people think of a redecoration. Me personally, just let me add this story, and it's a true story. My aunt and my uncle here in Germany, they have bought their Poggenpohl kitchen in 1978. And I was just recently visiting them, and it was still operating. Honestly speaking, yes, there was the one or the other little adjustment had to be made to the frontals, but it was working fine. And that is what Poggenpohl quality stands for. In this case, almost 50 years. Yeah, 45.
And the design is becoming popular again, most probably, right?
No, the design my uncle has was getting popular again about 10 years ago, like Marc has already mentioned. So
yes. Wonderful.
The next question is about what is the trending color of 2023? So probably color of the cabinet or color of the surface with regards to the shade of 2023, really.
Okay, good that you mentioned the color of the cabinets, because the first initial answer from my side was the color of the year 2023 is magenta, but this doesn't mean our cabinets will be magenta. It's more about interior design. Color-wise in the cabinets, we reduce ourselves in the carcass. We still will be timeless. So it's important to offer colors. So we do that more over, let's say, the options to use NCS color tones, raw color tones for the front panels. Because overall the carcass itself will stay in a white and a gray finish. maybe to add some new finishes in the future. We are thinking about things like that. But in the front panels, we would always suggest to say we stay to our color range at Poggenpohl, which means we have a very nice, warm color palette. But we are always open to add some front colors that our customers are wishing to have.
Thank you. The next question is about in design type Vinevo. There's a mention that there are floating island with steel construction. Please do elaborate on the standards of steel construction.
Could you please repeat? I didn't get it.
I repeat the question again.
Yeah.
In design type Venovo,
Yeah.
there
Lenovo,
is a
right.
mention that there are floating island
Yes.
with
Yes. Now I get
steel
it.
construction.
Yep.
Please do elaborate on the standards of steel construction.
Yeah. This is a very tricky question, as there are no real standards applicable here for the furniture industry. Of course, there are these basic security requirements that you have, and we have also tested the Plus Venovo islands together with the LGA. And that was when this excessive weight testing has taken place that I was referring to. But this, it's really, almost impossible to define a standard for this kind of construction. There are security constraints, of course. It should not fall over. It's understood. But a real standard is something that could not be applied to the Venovo here. Just very basic standard when it comes to safety and furniture security. And the steel construction that we applied in the Plus Venovo is very exceptional. It is so exceptional that we are reconsidering it currently, honestly, whether we would still continue this, because it is too high sophisticated for the actual requirement of the market, as we found out. And therefore also the price position of the Plus Venovo was even above the expectation of our customer base.
Thank you, Thomas. Next question about want to know the technique how we can incorporate light with Avantech. So I believe here I can also reply back that Avantech U with light is going to be available very shortly in India. So it's certain governmental BIS requirements which are undergoing. But even in the Avantech U that you buy, you can retrofit the lights on top of it really. So probably next couple of months, Avantech U with light would be available in India as well. Next question about why you have not given skirting in the kitchens really.
Again, skirting?
Why there has not been usage of skirtings towards the bottom end of the cabinetry? Why there is no skirting being used? Is it so that we are not using any kind of a skirting in our
skirting?
Maybe
sorry, I was not familiar with the word skirting.
Yeah, probably it's a communication gap between us that we call it skirting and you might be calling it something else, I believe.
Is it the plinth underneath or
yeah, that's it. Yeah, that
the plinth, plinth, yeah. Yes, of course, we apply plinths in great extent. Yeah, that was probably not featured on my slides in an excessive way. However, plinth or skirt, like you call it, is a standard in our cabinets. We even offer a variety of about, I think, 5 up to 20 centimeters of plinth height, and therefore you can vary the actual height of your worktop up to an ergonomic level. Was it understood? Mm-hmm.
Is glass shade or color Poggenpohl suggest in kitchen glass profile for trend 2023? So probably the question is about what is the glass shade as well as what is the aluminium profile shade, which is an in thing, keeping in mind 2023 trends really?
Very interesting question. I love this question because it really aims to the heart of our individualization concept today. When talking about aluminum framing, currently we feature 4 shades of aluminum, of anodized aluminum. There is a stainless steel-alike finish. There is the silver aluminum finish. Those are very light silver finishes, but we see a much more importance in black coming up these days. And in bronze, especially in bronze. So like a brownish bronze is a very important color when we talk about aluminum framing. And in our showcase glass cabinet that you have seen, we offer a variety of tinted glass colors. And these glass colors, they are precisely matching to the anodized color of the aluminum frame. So here we start off with a clear glass, then we go into a shade of gray and black tinted glass. And we even have this bronze shading also on the glass side. And then we feature it on the glass door, but also in the glass shelves. So to have a consistent color concept in both glass and aluminum, we consider is very important for a high-end brand like Poggenpohl.
Thank you. What is the standard width between cabinets and worktop in Modo design?
It is about 200, roughly speaking. We have a grid of 130, and it's actually 2 grid width, which is 26 centimeters, but you have to subtract the tray. So it's about 20 centimeters.
Okay. Which kitchen platforms are more strong, island or the normal ones?
I would say both, honestly. Yeah. So there is
strong
no
enough.
weakness. There is no weakness in an island. You have to, of course, make sure that once you apply a very deep cabinet with a very long internal depth measurements, and if you apply the full length of a drawer system, and here at Poggenpohl, we go up to the nominal length in our drawer cabinetry up to the 650 millimeter nominal length. So if you have a very, very deep drawer, then you need to make sure that your island does not tilt, does not come over. Yeah. So then you might apply some special features to the feet fixation to the floor, but it's not a safety issue, and it's not an issue of rigidness or stability. It's just a matter of how you apply the technology.
Okay. Next question is about as a nature in India, there's a common problem of termites, which is really a big issue.
Yeah.
How can we overcome by the way of design and materials that can withstand for longer lifespan? So it's like Indian problem, and we're finding what is Poggenpohl really doing in order to with regards to their kitchens of India really.
Yeah. So I'm very honest here. So there is no special anti-termite feature in a kitchen cabinetry. This is something we do not address as a specific item here. I'm very, very open on that. And I know about this issue, and I know about the question of storing food, and especially when it comes to rice, for instance, as a standard food item. And here I know that there are very, very good solutions available out in the market. I did some research on that in the previous years. And I would recommend, if you ask me how to keep all this stuff away, the viggles, the termites, use the most traditional material that you have in your country. Use the pottery. Use pottery in combination with cloth and with pottery lids. And even a wet cloth on top of a pottery with a pottery lid might be a perfect solution to get rid of this. This was an inspiration I did not get from the Indian market. I got it from a Far East market recently. However, this is a very, very traditional way to store, and I very much believe these people that do this for centuries. And yeah, so just an idea from my end.
Okay. Can you explain more about your sink and faucet design?
Sink and faucet design. Well, the overall design approach, as you have seen from the pictures, is a minimalistic approach. Very clear lines, very harmonious. That is something very, very specific to Poggenpohl. And this, of course, we would like to see also in a sink design. However, it depends on the style of the kitchen. You can rather choose to have a more traditional kitchen design, which could also allow some roundish cornering in sinks. Yeah, and when it comes to faucets, we do not produce faucets, as you know. We have some partnership here with very prestigious companies, like, for instance, from Germany, company Dornbracht is a strong partner of Poggenpohl when it comes to faucets. And if you take a look at the pictures of Dornbracht faucets, you get a clear idea on what design language we prefer.
Okay. Next question is about, are bifold lift-ups a good idea for top cabinets, or do you suggest something else?
No, a bifold is a very good solution. Bifold has the advantage of disappearing into the air, so there are no hinge doors in the way once you operate in front of a wall cabinet. A bifold has the advantage that the lower part of the flap system somewhat stays in the reach of the hand, so can be easily closed as well. And it is very forgiving with regard to the surrounding design, yeah, of your kitchen. A bifold is a good idea. However, what I would not recommend to everybody is to have a combination of glass and bifold. Yeah, so this combination can result in a tricky situation if you are really looking into the direction of a glass wall unit, a glass door wall unit. I would honestly suggest a different, like a flap or solution here, a plain flap solution. That could be a good idea as well.
So that's about it. So now I would like to hand over to Mr. Eckholt to say a few words.
No, thank you, Laaff, and special thanks for sure going to Marc and Thomas for your great keynote, which was which was representing, I mean, Poggenpohl as a brand in the best possible way to a big audience in India on the one hand side. So we got deep insights about brand, about design, about functionality, about trends and colors. And from my point of view, we also had a great opportunity to represent each other, how we are doing business together, means us, Hettich, along with Poggenpohl, and together how we also bring innovation into the market. So thanks for this, also for your great support in this regards. And I believe we have much more in common than only 130 years of company history, right? So means thank you on behalf of Hettich for this 1.5 hour session, but as well, as you have mentioned, Hettich and Poggenpohl, it's a prosperous team, but we are only as good as the market sees us. So from this point of view, also thank you to everybody who was joining today's event. I mean, we have really a big audience, plus 1,000 people which are here. Everybody will take something, and with them, we had wonderful questions also, and I believe, Laaff, there are many more questions which we are not able to answer. So sorry to everybody whom we are not able to answer a specific question, but I'm sure we will have the opportunity in the future also to meet and greet, and to find the time also for individual meetings. So on behalf of Hettich, Thank you very much. Thanks for everybody. Good evening to all the people in India, and a successful rest of the day to Germany, right?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It was our pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you.
Bye.